You're watching Talkin Ducks, built by Parr Lumber. Talkin Ducks is presented by Pacific Clear Vision Institute and Les Schwab Tire Centers. Welcome into another edition of Talkin Ducks. So much to get to here. Men's and women's basketball dominant in the month of January. We'll give you the latest update there. And then signing day for football. That's coming up on Wednesday. We'll let you know how the very busy head coach Dan Lanning expects to fill the roster out even more. And then we'll also catch up with Coach Waz baseball. A surprise season last year where they hosted regionals. They're getting set for practice here shortly. We'll get his thoughts on the upcoming season. And then also what to be excited about in 2022 when it comes to Oregon football. But let's go ahead and get to our opening drive, brought to you by Les Schwab Tire Centers, where they've been doing the right thing since 1952. And we're joined by the usual crew, Aaron Fentress from the Oregonian, Joey Harrington, Anthony Newman, and guys, head coach Dan Lanning got probably a later start to fully dive into his Oregon head football coaching duties because he won a national title with Georgia. Now that he's fully invested into what he's doing at Oregon here, you look at what he's done. He's hosted another massive recruiting weekend, landed key commits ahead of Wednesday's signing day, addressed the crowd at Matthew Knight Arena, held a Zoom call with Oregon football alumni. Aaron, the man has been incredibly busy. How do you look at how he's been able to handle everything in such a tight window for this transition?
Look, Oregon fans dealt a blow when Chris Ball left. Got a guy they like, but what you want to see is that energy, right? You want to see that passion, that fire coming out of the gate hot. There's no games to be played, so all you can do is really just dazzle people with your energy. And that's what he's done, like appearing at Matthew Knight, talking to the crowd there. And then his staff is out there recruiting because they have to save this recruiting class. It's 63rd in the nation ranked right now. That's not where Oregon's used to be. So those guys are out getting the recruiting done. But I just feel like there's something every day you're seeing from him that's showing that not only is he bringing the energy, but he loves it. He's got the passion for being Oregon's coach.
And that's the key right there, Aaron, is if you compare, let's use the Brian Kelly transition to LSU, right? And the fake.
Are we going to talk about the dance video or what he was doing?
Yeah, or the dance moves or whatever it was. But I'm thinking more just kind of like the fake set. I'm so happy to be here. Like the difference between those two, right? One is doing it for, I want to say, I don't know what Brian Kelly is. I can't speak for him specifically, but from the outside, it looks like he's doing it for himself, right? And you compare that to what Dan Lanning is doing and the way he is truly just jumping in and just connecting and enjoying and jumping into the pit crew and taking Zoom calls with alums and, just communicating with everybody. Like he is truly buying in, you mentioned it, hosting the recruiting weekends. The difference between that type of coach in we'll just say the Brian Kelly mold and the type of coach that we have right now in Dan Lanning, in my view, is, it's apples and oranges. It's such a stark contrast, and Dan is doing such an incredible job of just embracing everything that's Oregon. And that is what's going to endear him to the fans. That's what's going to endear him to the community. That's going to endear him to the players, right? That's the kind of commitment and passion you want to see if you're a player. And, I think it's why all of us have said from the very beginning, the moment we took a look at Dan Lanning and found out who he was, we were all excited to see what he was going to bring to Eugene. And I think we're seeing just the start of it right now.
Hey, guys, I have to be honest. I love this, how the coaches are all over the place. But, I thought about going into college coaching after I got done playing. And I'm glad I didn't, because to think about it, these coaches under Dan Lanning, they're never home. These dudes are visiting recruits all over the country. They're in somebody's house at 2:30 in the morning. Are you kidding me? But that's what we're looking for. That's the effort and the passion that us Duck fans are looking for, that these coaches are out there, recruiting, getting guys that they think belong in this program. But I tell you what, man, you're always on the road. You're never home. I like to be home with my family.
See, and that's all why my wife wanted me to get into coaching.
Well, Aaron, I got to point this out, though. You look at what Lanning's been able to do in a short amount of time here at Oregon, while also juggling those duties with Georgia, helping them win a national title by beating Alabama. He has this whole staff in place, essentially. Cristobal, not to compare, is still looking for two coordinators. So for a first-time head coach going across the country to fill out everything that he needs to do to keep this program moving forward, it's got to be very impressive to see what he's done in this short amount of time.
Yeah, no, he's done a great job piecing together the guys he wants. We'll see how it works out, obviously, on the field, but he's gone out and identified the people he wanted, sold them on Oregon, sold them on a lot of them left good programs. Florida State, well, Florida State's struggling, but Florida State's a big-time program. UW, struggling, but still a big-time program, getting guys to come to Oregon. So, no, he's done a great job. There's no doubt about that. I mean, I think, again, like I said earlier, you just want to see energy, you want to see pop, you want to see enthusiasm. Taggart brought that as well. So did Mario early on and throughout his 4 years, and now Lanning is doing the same.
I don't want to pop the balloon here. I mean, there hasn't been any games played. Okay, he hasn't lost any games yet.
Oh,
so
no,
right now, everybody
undefeated.
loves him. He's doing what he needs to do, and he's doing everything. I mean, he is working so. I don't know how hard the guy can work because he's working so hard. I mean, it's unreal. It's unreal what he did. And he's still rolling around just recruiting, meeting everybody, doing his job. And he's going, I think, beyond what he needs to do. He really is. But that's the type of person he is, and that's what we want. But what's more important is now you got to win football games. So you got to get these dudes to win the games. And once you start winning games, everybody's really happy. If they start losing games, it's a different story. And this stuff right here doesn't mean anything.
There's no games right now, right? So all we can do is judge him on what he's done to this point. And you said it just a second ago. What he's done has been nothing short of amazing, right?
Correct.
The dedication, the travel, the work ethic, the connection. And that's what we can judge him on right now. And I think what he's done so far is exceptional.
Oh, yeah.
Until Wednesday. On Wednesday, we can judge him based on the recruiting class. Wednesday gets real.
Get the gavel out, Aaron. I love it. All right, well, speaking of exceptional, when we come back, men's and women's basketball for the Ducks dominating the conference in the month of January. We'll catch you up to speed as both programs starting to climb the rankings in the Pac-12. Plenty more Talkin' Ducks when we come back.
With 9 locations in the Pacific Northwest, Parr's Cabinet Design Center features everything from outdoor cabinets and countertops to sinks and hardware. Thousands of door styles and colors available to order, as well as kitchen and bath cabinets in stock. All available at the Parr Cabinet Design Center.
Sure glad we went to Les Schwab.
I'm glad the baby's still happy.
Well, I'm just glad that along with tires, Les Schwab also does brakes, alignment, and a bunch of other safety services. I mean, if we had gone to a cheap tire store instead, I'd be a doggone wreck.
My thoughts exactly.
Thanks, kiddo.
Give everyone peace of mind on the road. Swing by or book online. Les Schwab Tires, doing the right thing since 1952.
Being able to get LASIK gave me the opportunity to not worry about putting contacts in every day, and just kind of made my life a little easier. Pacific Clear Vision Institute was just incredible through my entire experience. The staff was very welcoming. Dr. Embody, he really just kind of laid it out and made me feel comfortable and gave me confidence to know that I was in good hands. I would definitely recommend Pacific Clear Vision Institute for any sort of laser eye surgery.
Welcome to your Capital Toyota.
From the moment you walk through the doors, we're here for you.
Buy, sell, trade.
We got you covered.
It's everything you need in one place.
Great service? Check.
Easy to work with?
Check.
We want you to be happy, and it shows in everything we do.
Because we respect your time.
It's all the quality and convenience in one package.
New or Toyota certified pre-owned.
Our people are your people.
Capital Toyota. It's your way on the Parkway.
Stories tell us that great leaders are anointed at birth, chosen by the hand of fate. But those are just stories.
You're watching Talkin' Ducks, built by Parr Lumber. All right, let's hit Victory Road, presented by Capital Toyota in Salem. Your way on the Parkway. The Oregon men getting back on track in front of a near sellout crowd in their victory over Oregon State at Matthew Knight Arena. Oregon bouncing back after a disappointing home loss to Colorado earlier in the week. Let's go ahead and listen in to head coach Dana Altman and Jacob Young on what they felt was the key to the Oregon win.
You know, tonight I thought the big difference in our defense was just the bigs going after shots. When we played them last time, they got to the rim whenever they wanted. Their night against Colorado, they got to the rim whenever they wanted. So I just thought Dante's activity, Frank's activity, Quincy's activity really gave us a big boost.
I mean, that's the X factor for the turn in our season to me. When we went on the LA trip, they was protecting the rim for every possession, and we got that same thing tonight. And I feel like if they keep protecting the rim like that every game, I feel like we have a good chance to win every game we play.
All right, Aaron. So for Oregon, it sounds like, according to Young and Altman, it's about the defense and some rim protection specifically, something that they had against the Beavers but was clearly absent in that loss to the Buffaloes.
Yeah, the loss to the Buffaloes was obviously disappointing, coming off of the high of beating the California schools and then, of course, throttling UW, and then you lose to Colorado. Colorado's not a great team. They're not a bad team, but it sort of makes you wonder, okay, what really is this Oregon team if they're going to lose that game, especially at home? But they bounced back. They throttled the Beavers. And, Altman's big on defense, and he got some performances from his bigs. Dante, Guerrier, combined for 5 block shots. I think they had 8 as a team, and that's what he wants to see, is those guys protecting the rim, not giving up easy baskets, make teams shoot from the outside, which is what all coaches pretty much want, and then contest those shots as well. So it was good to see them bounce back from what was a disappointing loss against Colorado.
And that's what Altman was saying early in the season. The key to this team is their defense, because getting stops sets up everything that they're trying to do on offense. And especially when they go with this 3-guard lineup or this smaller lineup where they don't have tremendous size on the perimeter. They don't have 6'8", 6'9" guys left and right that can defend wings. They need rim protection, but also rebounding too, Aaron. They got out-rebounded big time against Colorado, and in their previous win against Oregon State in Corvallis, the Beavers got whatever they wanted to in the paint. I think when their big men play with energy and they're this active and they challenge shots left and right, you do have a lot of athleticism with Dante and Kepnong. That's when this Oregon team is at its best, because you aren't going to just lock people out on the outside. When you don't have that size advantage on the wings, people are going to be able to get the ball into the paint. Now what do you do defensively? Well, you have to challenge shots and get defensive rebounds. And that's what they've been doing in these wins and in this resurgence. So hopefully that's the formula they can follow. An at-large berth is still in the cards for Oregon, but that margin for error is getting smaller considering that loss to Colorado. Now, Aaron, they go on the road to Colorado where, believe it or not, they have not won ever since Dana Altman's been head coach here at Oregon and Colorado's joined the Pac-12. So how did they shake this curse? It's kind of a quick turnaround, but how did they do it on the road for the first time ever, hopefully?
Well, I mean, basically doing a lot of things you just said, picking things up on defense. And
I set myself up there.
I mean, pretty much. Oh, you wanted me to just tell you how genius you were. Okay, yes, George, just do all the things that you said they didn't do against Colorado. Do them this time. But no, look, one of the fun things about the Pac-12 in football and in basketball is that there is parity, and any team can beat any other team. But this is a good opportunity for them to come right back in a short amount of time from losing to Colorado and show that they figured things out and they can take care of a team like that on the road.
All right, time now for a Thing of Beauty presented by Dr. Lee B. Daniel and Aesthetic Plastic Surgery. Live beautiful. And how about the Oregon women? They are surging in conference play. They've won 7 straight games now, and they've been healthy for 5 games only this entire year. And yeah, you can count that. They've been healthy during the 7-game win streak, and that's a big reason for that. So they had a huge, dominant win against USC at home. Here's Kelly Graves afterwards and his thoughts on where this team needs to be with still plenty of season left.
I'm not one to ever let them rest on their laurels. One of my favorite sayings is, if what you did yesterday still looks good to you today, then you haven't done anything today. So we try to do something extraordinary every day. Contrary to my good buddy Willie Taggart, who used to say just do something, ours is do something extraordinary every day. So we keep them focused that way. I love that we're kind of on a roll. We're playing well. We're doing some good things. We got a long way to go. We just got to continue to get better, keep grinding. I know that sounds cliche, but it really is the truth. Can't get too far ahead of yourselves, but hopefully they do feel good about their performances.
All right, Aaron, I don't know what's going on with this show, but we've now got 2 Willie Taggart references somehow in this show. I think we reached our quota for the entire season now at this point, but you look at Graves and this mindset for this team. I mean, this women's team struggled out the gate earlier this year, but now it seems like they're rounding into form. And when you hear the words from Graves, this is exactly where you want your team to be at, right? And this is the mindset, not getting too high, not getting too low, and finally getting into their groove here.
He said himself it's kind of cliche, but it really isn't cliche. Sports at the end of the day are not necessarily that complex, right? You want your team to be focused. You want them to do the things that you're trying to teach them to do. And the team that makes the fewest amount of mistakes is going to win most games, all things created equal. So as he's saying is that we just can't get too ahead of ourselves because, yes, we've won a bunch of games in a row, but we know we can fall backwards because we have this season. So let's just keep building upon that and not take anything for granted. Like he said, if you're happy with what you did yesterday, that means you didn't do anything today. So he wants his team to not at any moment rest on any types of laurels, because I think in his mind, being the high-end coach he is and understanding what it truly takes to win at a major level, he knows that his team really probably isn't that good yet. They're winning, but they're not near where he wants them to be. That's why he's going to keep pushing them.
Yeah, in the recent top 16 that was released for the NCAA tournament, the Oregon women coming in at number 14. So one of those top four seeds possibly awaiting this Oregon women's basketball team. All right, don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll take a look ahead at the 2022 football season. The spring game date has been announced. What are we most excited for next season? We'll share when we come back.
Do you have a stay-at-home project? We can help. Contact Parr from the comfort of your home. Get a free quote online or call a pro to order your materials. And the best part? We deliver. Call us or visit parr.com for details. Parr, your project experts for 90 years.
Eugene Airport is a proud part of what makes Western Oregon such a unique place to be. With nonstop routes that connect to hundreds of destinations, fly local, fly EUG.
In the heart of the South Willamette Valley, just 12 miles southwest of Eugene, distinctive handcrafted wines are waiting for you at Sylvan Ridge Winery. Sylvan Ridge Wines bring unassuming, casual elegance to your homes, tables, and celebrations, and are best paired with the mainstays of a social gathering: good food, fond friends, and lively conversation. Discover our wines by visiting our tasting room. For a list of events or to plan your visit, go to sylvanridge.com. Proud partners of the Oregon Ducks.
Since 1961, Comfort Flow Heating has provided service to more than 50,000 homes and businesses in the Willamette Valley. While the technology and techniques in our industry have changed, our founding principles have remained the same: to provide exceptional service in all areas of our business and for our customers to enjoy their products from us and be comfortable for years to come.
From all of us at Comfort Flow, thank you for choosing us.
Go Ducks!
Sometimes leadership is scary, but so is regret.
You're watching Talkin' Ducks, built by Parr Lumber. Welcome back. Time to put things into focus. Brought to you by Pacific Clear Vision Institute, the official eye doctors and eye surgeons of the Oregon Ducks. Well, the date for the spring game has been set, April 23rd at 1 p.m., so go ahead and throw that into your calendar. And you start to look at what's going to make 2022 very intriguing here, Joey. And a lot of storylines to go along with the new head coach, but especially on the field. What are you looking at as far as an area that excites you the most for next year?
Okay, so obviously everybody thinks I'm going to go quarterback here, right? But I think that's going to sort itself out. What I want to see, and let me also preface, I think we have established your young core of wide receivers, right? So we got that set. The quarterback is going to sort itself out. What I'm excited to see is going to come from the running back room, right? We know Byron Cardwell is going to be the lead back, and it's not him that we've seen who he can be. I want to see what these young, versatile, I want to see what Dollar, I want to see what McGee, I want to see what these guys can do out of the backfield. I want to see how creative this offensive staff can be in getting them the ball. Because you got your core set of wide receivers, right? We're not going to have any big surprises there. They're young, they're talented, and they're going to grow. You've got your star running back, right? I want to see all the other stuff that's going to make whoever the quarterback is better. right? Because you're not just going to be able to stand out there and throw hitches and slants and hand the ball off to Cardwell every time, right? This game has developed to the point where you need multiple backs. You need them to do different things. And I think that's going to come from the young depth in the running back room. And I'm excited to see how that is going to be used by the new coordinator for the new quarterback.
Aaron, what about you? What has you getting your season tickets ready for 2022?
Really? Anyway, I'll let that slide. Listen,
your season tickets.
You got to buy. Did they make you buy tickets, Aaron?
I haven't bought a Ducks ticket since. Actually, the last Oregon ticket I bought was Joey against Wisconsin, and
Wow.
I just listen. No, quick story. I had just bought a brand new 528 silver BMW. And some Duck fan painted a green O on it because I parked in a residential area. That's a whole nother show because I'm still mad. I'm still looking for that guy. Wherever you... Anyway, I digress. Okay.
All right, money back Fentress. Go ahead.
But that was literally the last ticket I bought. Anyway, back to your question. Listen, all that stuff Joey's talking about is all well and good, and it's all true. He's 100% right. That's all important. But at the end of the day, in order for them to go where Lanning's talking about them going, which is bringing a championship to Oregon, you have to have a high-end quarterback. And the guy they just got from Auburn is nice. He's solid. He's good. But if this team is going to actually make a leap and be true contenders, it has to be Ty Thompson beating out Nix. That's just it. If he does that, now you may have an elite level star for the next 2 or 3 years as opposed to a stopgap with Nix. So it may be cliche, it may be easy, but at the end of the day for me, everything else is going to take care of itself. There's enough talent on this team to be good at every position, but if you're not elite or at least close to elite at quarterback, you're not going to make the playoffs. That's what Oregon's all about, what they claim to be all about. So then for me, I want to see how Ty Thompson develops. As a matter of fact, if I go near a spring practice, all I'm going to do is watch Ty Thompson. I'll be like a stalker.
Anthony, I imagine it's the defensive side of the ball for you. So what are you looking forward to on that defense next season?
Aaron, defense wins championships.
Blah, blah, blah.
Remember that. Okay, don't forget that, okay?
Blah, blah.
I'm excited about Lanning's defense. I really am because, you know, you talk about defense, you talk about you need them when you go into a battle against a team that can score some points. Georgia had a defense, and Lanning was in charge of that defense, but he was under Kirby Smart. To me, Kirby Smart is the guru of defense, and I think he was under Nick Saban. So it's all about defense. And I'm interested to see the scheme. There's some players on Oregon's defense. Noah Sewell, number one. He is the key guy. He's the captain of that ship. But I'm interested in the scheme. You know, they run a 3-4 defense. Kirby Smart was all about, hey, we want 5 guys in the box to stop the run. 3 D linemen, 2 linebackers. The other guys are going to deal with the pass. I'm going to see if Lanning does the same thing here with the Oregon's defense. Now, that's based on personnel. Because if you got some dudes on the outside that can cover corners, then you can bring the safeties in the box to help stop the run. But it's going to be interesting to see if Oregon has that interior lineman, those linebackers to stop the run with 5 guys. I don't know how the scheme's going to be, but that's what I'm excited to watch.
And Anthony, to piggyback off of that, I'm interested about an SEC defense. Is it about the scheme or is it about the personnel? Can you bring the scheme and have notable success until you really get your guys up there? Or is it true that it's just a different breed of football player down south? And that's why we see such dominant defenses in the SEC, because you have better athletes and better size down there. That's what I'm curious to see. I would like to think it is the scheme, and that what Lanning is bringing from Georgia, that dominant defense we saw this last season, is something that Oregon can show signs of until they really do get all their recruits filled in on that side of the ball. But that to me is what I'm curious about, because we've known it for years that what separates the SEC from the rest of the conferences, it's not the offenses, it's not the quarterback play,
it's
dudes. That front 7 on the defense. It's
Yes.
the size of the linebackers, the defensive line, and the unsexy positions, as I like to call it, where they just dominate people.
Yes.
And so
But aren't
is it
those
about
dudes?
the players in the jersey, or is it about the scheme? That's what I'm looking forward to, Anthony.
Aren't those dudes instead of guys, though? Haven't we
They're
established
dudes.
this before?
Hey,
Don't they
Joe,
have
I tried to
dudes?
help him.
Grown
Okay,
men.
but Newman, piggyback what he's saying though. Tell me what's special about his scheme. I don't think Dan Lanning has reinvented football.
No.
Okay, so what is he going to do that's so special that bringing that scheme? Oh my God, he's bringing the scheme to. It doesn't matter if he's not bringing the dudes. Go ahead.
Aaron, you're so right. I'm mad at myself because I have to agree with you. You're so right.
Whoa. What'd you just say?
I'm not going to repeat it. Okay. I'm not going to repeat it. But listen, sometimes your scheme can help your teammates out or your players out a little bit. Hey, yes, dudes win football games. And the coaches say this all the time. Even Dan Lanning said it. He said, it's much easier to coach a team when I have dudes, okay, than just ordinary football players. When you have dudes, it makes your coaching look great. So Nick Saban, he's had a bunch of dudes at Alabama all these years. That's why they win championships. It's not about the coaching that's winning championships. But now, at the same time, Joey said this a long time ago, you got to develop these players. You got to get them to understand what's going on. And some coaches can do that better than others. Dan Lanning can do that with his defense. Again, maybe it's because of the guys that he's, that's up front, those defensive linemen that are stopping the run by themselves. I don't know, but at least we're coming in the season with a guy that understands how to stop the running game with his defense.
Hold on though. When Nick Saban got to Alabama, he didn't have dudes. Remember, this is the job that they got rid of Mike Price after he went from Washington State, and Shula was in there for a minute. Like, this was an Alabama program in transit, in flux, right? Saban brought, I don't know whether
he lost to Louisiana Monroe, though. Do you remember
What's that?
Saban lost to Louisiana Monroe.
In his first year.
Yeah, but
what I'm saying is he didn't have dudes. He came in, and what can he do as a coach? Did Saban reinvent defense? No, he didn't. And in fact, he's adjusted and been flexible and become more of an offensive team, or like I said, expanded his offense through the years. But what he brought was a culture. What he brought was a way to do things, right? And that's what he passed to Kirby Smart. And that's what he passed to all these assistants, throughout his coaching tree that have actually, until this year had never been able to come back and beat him, right? That's what you bring as a coach, is a way to operate. And I think that's what Dan is going to bring in this first year, establish that culture, and then he needs the dudes.
Correct.
Well, stick around when we come back. We'll catch up with a dude of our own. Matt Preem will join us. We'll find out what's going on with Recruiting Wednesday and what it means for the Ducks, and whether Oregon can bring on some more dudes of their own. Plenty more Talkin' Ducks after the break.
Parr Lumber is committed to providing the best customer service. We provide personal service. We're problem solvers. We're positive and courteous. We're competent and professional. We are committed to delivering exceptional service every time. We're appreciative and we care. We are Parr Lumber.
Sure glad we went to Les Schwab.
I'm glad the baby's still happy.
Well, I'm just glad that along with tires, Les Schwab also does brakes, alignment, and a bunch of other safety services. I mean, if we had gone to a cheap tire store instead, I'd be a doggone wreck.
My thoughts exactly.
Thanks, kiddo.
Give everyone peace of mind on the road. Swing by or book online. Les Schwab Tires, doing the right thing since 1952.
Being able to get LASIK gave me the opportunity to not worry about putting contacts in every day, and just kind of made my life a little easier. Pacific Clear Vision Institute was just incredible through my entire experience. The staff was very welcoming. Dr. Embody, he really just kind of laid it out and made me feel comfortable and gave me confidence to know that I was in good hands. I would definitely recommend Pacific Clear Vision Institute for any sort of laser eye surgery.
You're watching Talkin' Ducks, built by Parr Lumber. All right, welcome back. It's time now for What's Cooking, brought to you by Sam's Northwest Barbecue, the largest brick and mortar specialty barbecue store in the Northwest. We're now joined by Matt Preem of 24/7 Sports and Duck Territory. And Matt, huge news for the Ducks today. Jaleel Florence committing to Oregon, following through with that. Just how big is this for the Ducks, considering you had a coaching change right in the middle of this recruitment?
Yeah, this was a really big win for Dan Lanning, head coach, and position coaches Demetrius Martin and Tosh Lupoy. Lupoy obviously being the D coordinator, Demetrius Martin being his position coach. This was a guy USC tried really hard to flip from Oregon to USC for the first signing day period. And so we've all been wondering what were these battles going to be like, Oregon versus USC. And this was a first big silo between the two teams, and Oregon won. Top 100 player, the 11th best cornerback in the country, a top 10 player in the state of California, a guy that just skyrocketed up the rankings as a senior. I think the COVID pandemic and shortened season into spring for California football during his junior year really impacted his recruitment, and a guy that probably would be a lot higher if he had gone through a normal junior year.
So with signing day coming up on Wednesday here, what's left for Oregon and Lanning? Because obviously you're trying to recoup as much as you can, bring in some new faces. It's difficult for any school, as we mentioned before, with a coaching change like this. But what do you expect from Oregon? What are they hoping for on Wednesday?
Yeah, there's a couple other guys still on the board that Oregon's trying to figure out where they're going to land. They've landed a couple transfers. Andrew Boyle, a kicker from Washington State, has transferred to Oregon. Jordan Riley, a defensive tackle from Nebraska, has transferred to Oregon. So that those are two other players that have taken some of the available spots. Kamari Terrell was a 4-star cornerback who committed to Oregon last Friday. So a lot of Oregon's signing day excitement has come a little bit earlier than anticipated. So it could be a more low-key day for National Signing Day, but that doesn't mean there still won't be new additions. 4-star running back Jordan James from Tennessee, he is looking at Oregon. It's looking like he's going to flip from the Georgia Bulldogs to the Oregon Ducks. We're waiting on what 4-star edge player Amarion Winston will do from Central Catholic up in Portland, Oregon. He was at Oregon this past weekend, probably going to sign with Oregon as well. He's been at Florida. He's been at Washington the last couple of weeks. And then we're going to wait until March. There's one more guy, 5-star offensive tackle Josh Connerly Jr. from Rainier Beach up in the Seattle area. He's not going to sign on National Signing Day, and he's going to take his official visit to Oregon in March, and then hopes to make a decision at some point in that month. Oregon's going to hold a spot for him. There's a couple other guys that are considering Oregon, Christian Miller, Davey Luley, but none of those guys right now look like they're trending towards Oregon's way.
All right, Matt, well, thanks again. It should be an exciting Wednesday, and at the very least, Dan Lanning and his crew have done an excellent job of putting together a coaching staff and getting as many recruits as they possibly can. I'm sure it's the first of many great years. So we appreciate it. Have fun, and don't be too exhausted by the end of the day on Wednesday, all right?
I appreciate it.
Since 1961, Comfort Flow Heating has provided service to more than 50,000 homes and businesses in the Willamette Valley. While the technology and techniques in our industry have changed, our founding principles have remained the same: to provide exceptional service in all areas of our business and for our customers to enjoy their products from us and be comfortable for years to come.
From all of us at Comfort Flow, thank you for choosing us.
Go Ducks!
Eugene Airport is a proud part of what makes Western Oregon such a unique place to be. With nonstop routes that connect to hundreds of destinations, fly local, fly EUG.
Welcome to your Capital Toyota.
From the moment you walk through the doors,
we're here for you.
Buy, sell, trade.
We got you covered.
It's everything you need in one place.
Great service? Check.
Easy to work with?
Check.
We want you to be happy, and it shows in everything we do.
Because we respect your time.
It's all the quality and convenience in one package.
New or Toyota certified pre-owned.
Our people are your people.
Capital Toyota. It's your way on the Parkway.
You're watching Talkin' Ducks, built by Parr Lumber. All right, let's fly around the Pac-12, courtesy of Eugene Airport. Fly easy, fly EUG. Well, Oregon landing 2 more transfers over the weekend, however, losing out on Colorado running back Jarek Broussard, who decides to go to Michigan State. So now you look at a running back room with no Dye, no Verdell, and now no Broussard here. And Aaron, what do you make about this situation? We touched on it earlier, but starting with you, how do we all feel about Oregon's running back situation going into next season?
As long as they bring in a freshman, which I think they're going to, then you'd have 4 scholarship backs. I think that's fine. They might even bring in 2 backs. Most of the time, Oregon brings in at least 1, if not 2 backs in a given recruiting cycle. At least they did under Campbell. So I think you're going to be fine there. To me, Broussard would have muddied things up. It's like, wait a minute, you just convinced $7. I love the fact he's going to wear number 7, by the way, to stay, right? And then you're going to go get another back to put in front of them. And now they're 3-4 instead of maybe 2-3, although 7 does play some slot. Like, to me, that was just like a slap in the face almost. And again, I'm not privy to the conversations Lanning has had with all these backs, but legitimately, he convinced them to come back because they were both in the portal. So I like just going with Cardwell, Dollars, and McGee as your 3, right? And then you bring in a freshman, so you have a 4th guy who will probably redshirt, but he's there just in case. And then I think you're fine.
Can we just mark this as a the date in Talkin' Ducks history when we all agree with Fentress? Because that happened earlier in the show.
I think that happens more than you guys let on. Because the genius is
all
real.
I have to say right now is I completely agree with you. Anthony?
Amen. I agree.
You know,
well
we have to argue
hopefully
sometimes,
Oregon
or we're going
gets
to
a
just
4th
lose
running
our
back,
audience.
though. But it is interesting that in all the years that Oregon has had talented running backs, this might be a year where there's more question marks than ever before. So we'll see how things play out. Obviously, a lot of work to be done at that position for Oregon. All right, time now to get to our hot topic, brought to you by Comfort Flow Heating, the HVAC industry leader in Western Oregon since 1961. And Joe, you look at some of the all-time great transfers in Oregon football history, and you wish you could go back, rewind the clock, and bring in this season a couple of running backs that you feel like have been some of the greatest transfers in Oregon history.
Well, we already established that I agree with Aaron. Okay, are you trying to make us say I agree with Aaron? I agree with Aaron.
Yes,
I
that's
don't
my
want
goal.
to
Is trying to get you to
year.
agree with Aaron as many times as possible this episode. I want that to be written on the tombstone, right?
Gotcha.
Joey
Okay.
finally agreed with Aaron.
Gotcha. However, you're right. I do, and I have a personal, I got to go with these 2 guys who transferred in, Reuben Drones and Maurice Morris, because those are guys that at certain times carried me, carried this team, God, what was it, 43 carries for Reuben and 199 against Arizona and 199 yards against Oregon State. I mean, Mo Morris coming in from South Carolina, and truly nobody knew anything about him, and he just shows up and first couple games goes for $1.25 and put us on his back for the first part of that season. Like, those guys were some of the most selfless, team first guys that I've ever played with. And I know there's a huge list, but I had to go with them because those guys both have a special place with me.
Anthony.
Well, I'm going to go with a guy because he started his career after the game with the left cross on a Boise State player, LeGarrette Blount. That's all. He's a dude. Straight dude. That's why I'm going to go with him.
Aaron.
All right, I'm going with Achilles Smith. So dude came in, was in competition for a little bit, then became the guy, put forth what at the time was the greatest statistical performance in the history of Oregon football, 3,700 yards passing with 32 touchdowns. Still, this is 20 years later, because I think his biggest year was 98 or 99.
98.
His 32 TDs ranked third all time, and his 3,700 yards ranked second all time behind only Mariota during his Heisman year. That's some impact for your backside right there. And he was a top 3 pick in the NFL draft.
Honorable mention, Vernon Adams. I look at what that Oregon team would have been that year if he wasn't at quarterback.
It would have been what 2016
yikes.
was.
And the fact that he played hurt the first couple of games, too. I think if he's healthy, that Oregon team only loses one game the entire year. So either way, we'll dive more into this next time. But make sure you stick around because when we come back, we'll have plenty more, including a chance to talk to head baseball coach the Waz about the upcoming season on the diamond for the Ducks. You're watching Talkin' Ducks, built by Parr Lumber. It's time for some excellence off the football field, presented by Ferguson Wellman. Ferguson Wellman taking a disciplined approach to investing. Let's round the bases with Coach Waz, head coach of the Oregon baseball team. Well, Coach, thanks again for joining us. And practice opened up on Friday. Just talk about how excited you guys are to be back and to get another campaign rolling here.
That's fantastic. Happy New Year, and thanks for having me, Jordan. Yeah, no, it's been fantastic. We've been out there now for 3 full days of official practice. We started actually January 3rd with individual work. So we've been going with the buildup for about 3 weeks before our first practice started. We had 3 scrimmages this last weekend. The weather was great. It was an amazing time, and it's fun to be with the guys again out there.
We caught up with you at the end of last year, and obviously it was a disappointing end to what was a terrific season. But how do you look at the impact of last year on what it had for this program and what it means for this year moving forward?
Yeah, it was massive. I mean, and for me, even disappointing end. I say this much: like nobody expected us to even finish to where we were in postseason playing. For us to be able to host the regional, be in the regional finals, and all that kind of stuff. When you lose, it's always disappointing. And so, yes, it was a disappointing end for us. What a great year. What an outstanding opportunity for us to build now off of that great year. You had a lot of naysayers last year. Well, you don't really have any proven pieces that have been in postseason play and all the things they said, which were all true, which was fine. We had to prove them wrong. This year I hear naysayers talk about, well, you lost some key pieces and so you're going to have enough. And so it gets another opportunity to be able to prove people that are naysayers wrong. And I really like what we have. It's been great being around those guys every single day. I think we've got a fine ball club, and I think people are going to start seeing that here once we're able to tee it up third week of February.
And as you said, you guys lost some big pieces to the draft. Your 3 weekend starters, middle of the order. How do you reload? How do you replace all of that production this year?
Player development and good recruiting. To be honest with you. And so, for us, it starts with the players, the development piece, and that's really what we've branded our program after. And the recruiting piece, just getting on the road and trying to find the best guys. We did that in a couple of different ways. Not only just high school kids, but a couple of junior college kids, and then some other 4-year transfers we picked up in the transfer portal. And so, recruiting these days, that we had another element with the transfer portal. That just like any other recruiting, you can find some good ones, and you got to do your homework on all angles of recruiting. Doesn't matter if it's transfer portal or high school kids or JUCO kids. We feel like we were able to reload with a lot of great pieces in our recruiting class, and it's been outstanding watching these kids that have come in looking for an opportunity. They're humble and they're working their tails off, and they just want to be a part of a championship and something great, and that's what we're striving to do.
Okay, so you got some transfers, some terrific recruits, but give us some names that we should keep an eye out for. I know that you're not trying to play favorites or anything like that, but it's always great to sort of keep an eye on some players before the start of the season and then track how they do throughout the year.
Yeah, I mean, can't go through them all just because there's a lot of them. But, high school kid, Jacob Walsh from Las Vegas, Nevada, he turned a lot of money down. He's a big left-handed hitting first baseman from Las Vegas. He's come in and he's played very, very well. We're excited he's here. He's a tremendous pickup. We've got a young freshman pitcher named Tommy Brandenburg. He's only now thrown a few different times because he was out during the fall. He got injured during summer baseball. So we didn't see much of him at all during the fall other than just him being at the field. But boy, Coach Angier has really liked what he sees on the mound. And so that's a freshman, both on the position side and on the mound. From the transfer side of it, Adam Meyer, transfer, right-handed pitcher. Boy, he's got a big arm. Pitched this last weekend. He's a junior for us, or third-year player in college, and he looks like he could be a high draft, top of the rotation type of a guy. And so he's really been somebody to watch. Also, 2 other transfers. A kid named Drew Cali transferred in here as a shortstop. From Southern California, Cal Poly Pomona Division II program down there. Randy Benton, a tremendous coach down there. Drew moved on, and he's here now. He's a left-handed hitting infielder. He can play all the infield spots. He's been very consistent and reliable. And also another infielder from South Carolina who's in his 3rd year in college. Tremendous upside. Brennan Malone is his name. He's got some real power. He makes PK Park, which is a man's park when you hit in this park. He makes it look small from time to time, and it's fun watching him work. So, those are just a small sample of some of the position players and some of the pitchers, but boy, there's a lot of others as well that we could spend time talking about too in these categories.
Well, what about Colby and Tanner? Obviously, preseason All-American. What do they mean for you guys this year? Because I know last year, prior to last season, you talked about how important chemistry and leadership was. Do you get that sense that you have that already this year?
Yeah, it was something clearly built by the group last year and carried over now. Tanner is a tremendous leader. even in the scrimmages right now, he's doing a great job at just being himself, being a pesky little guy that just sprays the ball around, that he's developed his man's strength as well. He's starting to drive the ball better than I've seen him do it here since, ever really, even on dating back to when he was young in high school. I mean, he's really starting to drive the ball, and I would look for his power numbers to increase. Josh Kasovich, from a leadership standpoint, tremendous, just a worker. The epitome of what work ethic really looks like between him and Gavin Grant, Sam Novisky, those guys with their extra work that they put in is tremendous. And then you hit on Colby Summers. We call him Pops because he's got a son. He's tremendous worker and really good arm. He'll be a guy that back into the bullpen again. It's awfully fun having Colby around because of leadership standpoint. Great kid, tremendous student, and he's in the business MBA program here at Oregon. One of the very few athletes to ever, if any, that have ever really gotten admitted to that program. And he's in it and he's excelling in it. And so he's not just great as a closer, but he's a great dad, and he's also a great student off the field with already a bachelor's degree in his belt.
All right, lastly, before I let you go, we always talk a little college basketball on this show here. What do you make about the turnarounds this past month for the Oregon men and Oregon women? I mean, they've been pretty dominant in conference play as of late.
Well, Coach Graves, his system is amazing, and his recruiting and passion is amazing. And I'll watch those ladies out there just crush it. Their energy is infectious, and I think them just getting healthy was a big key for Coach Graves and what he's got going on right now. And hopefully they can keep the winning ways up like they've had a tremendous stretch now. Once you get into men's basketball, I love Frank. Me and my staff and my program, we're big Frank Kepnang guys. I mean, that dude just brings the energy. He might not be the best scorer. I don't know much about basketball, but I can tell you this much. That dude shows up on the court and it's just all blood, guts, and passion. And that guy loves to play. He brings the energy every day. We're big Frank fans. And so, Frank, if you're listening out there, keep bringing it. We love you. You're an ultimate team player. And I think that's rubbed off onto the rest of that group that Coach Altman has. And obviously that guy's a wizard. He puts it together at the right time. He's doing it again.
The one and only Coach Waz, thanks again for joining us. Enjoy the start of the season, and we'll catch up with you soon, all right?
Appreciate it, Jordan. Go Ducks.
All right, big thank you to Coach Waz for joining us. Now, don't go anywhere. We'll close up shop and go ahead and give you our top plays from the 2022 football season when we come back on Talkin' Ducks.
Being able to get LASIK gave me the opportunity to not worry about putting contacts in every day, and just kind of made my life a little easier. Pacific Clear Vision Institute was just incredible through my entire experience. The staff was very welcoming. Dr. Embody, he really just kind of laid it out and made me feel comfortable and gave me confidence to know that I was in good hands. I would definitely recommend Pacific Clear Vision Institute for any sort of laser eye surgery.
Welcome to your Capital Toyota.
From the moment you walk through the doors, we're here for you.
Buy, sell, trade.
We got you covered.
It's everything you need in one place.
Great service? Check.
Easy to work with?
Check.
We want you to be happy, and it shows in everything we do.
Because we respect your time.
It's all the quality and convenience in one package.
New or Toyota certified pre-owned.
Our people are your people.
Capital Toyota. It's your way on the Parkway.
In the heart of the South Willamette Valley, just 12 miles southwest of Eugene, distinctive handcrafted wines are waiting for you at Sylvan Ridge Winery. Sylvan Ridge Wines bring unassuming, casual elegance to your homes, tables, and celebrations, and are best paired with the mainstays of a social gathering: good food, fond friends, and lively conversation. Discover our wines by visiting our tasting room. For a list of events or to plan your visit, go to sylvanridge.com. Proud partners of the Oregon Ducks.
All right, let's wrap this thing up and have a toast brought to you by Sylvan Ridge Winery, proud partners of the Oregon Ducks. And we look back at this previous season. We've had some fun looking at most improved players, MVP, but now it's time for our play of the year. And Anthony, since the sun is starting to set on you, my friend, literally, not figuratively, let's go ahead and go with you, your pick.
I'm going to have to go with, this is a great run. You know, you go to Ohio State, no one gives you a chance. You don't have your best football player on defense. But then you have C.J. Verdell, number 7, just bust a 70-yard run down the middle for a touchdown against Ohio State and just quiets the crowd. That was the play of the game, the play of the year for me.
Joey.
You know, I got to go something that's not a huge play that people think of, but it's Anthony Brown's run at the end of the very first game against Fresno State. Because if that does not happen, this entire season where we had such a great ride talking about potential playoffs, end up in the conference championship game, we don't need to talk about how that went, but we had a fun season. That play by Anthony Brown was indicative of what he could do with his legs, and he did it so many other times. If he doesn't do it then against Fresno, this season never gets started.
All right, because I'm such a rebel and can't follow directions, I'm picking 4 plays, but relax, it's not what you think. All 4 plays happen in sequence during Oregon's defensive stand against Cal inside the 5-yard line to save that victory. It was 24-17. Cal's on the 3-yard line, for crying out loud, and the Ducks defense stepped up, saved the game from going into overtime. And hey, just like with the Fresno win, if you don't win that Cal game, everything blows to smithereens. The defense stepped up and got it done and saved the game. So I'm going with those 4 plays and to be different.
I'm going with the McKinley pick at Ohio State to seal the game. I think at that point you felt like Ohio State was possibly going to come back down the field and still get a victory in this one. But McKinley sealing the deal, I think, was finally the capper on an unbelievable game and still one of the most memorable wins in Oregon history. Maybe not the most significant when you look at how the season went, but still, to go on the road at Ohio State, nobody gave this team a chance to win. McKinley seals the deal. All right, fellas, thanks again for joining us. And for those of you watching us, we always appreciate it. Don't forget, next week, another new edition of Talkin' Ducks. We'll recap signing day on Wednesday. Men's and women's basketball also in the thick of the Pac-12 conference race. From all of us here, thanks again, and we'll catch you next time.